Norway. It's a country we are continually told has the best EV uptake in the world. Now, there's a good number of reasons for that uptake in Norway, and many of them I'll cover throughout this video. Right now, we're going to have a look around the new Kia Niro, which comes in 3 models, although Ireland will get just 2 of them, a PHEV and a full electric. The HEV will not come to Ireland. The PHEV version will have a 1.6 gasoline engine and an 11.1 kilowatt-hour battery, putting out 183 PS combined. The full EV will get 64.8 kilowatt-hour battery, and that has a very useful 204 PS. These prototypes are the new Kia Niro. The Kia Niro now is going to look like this in PHEV, so you can see that kind of very thin nose. And right beside it right here is the full electric version of it. So this is going to be the electric one, and the electric one is going to look different from the PHEV one. You're going to struggle to tell the difference between the two of them, but obviously big change is there's no charge point here, and on the EV, the charge point is on the nose of it right there. And that charge point then for the PHEV is on the side here of this one. So this one charges AC only, obviously, being a PHEV. So I'm going to show you some of the standout features of the car as well. Standout for me is these panels. So this black panel here, and on that one it's silver, as you can see. It's an optional extra, and I honestly wouldn't spec it. I don't think the colour really matters. This one has a bit of camo on the bottom here, which is because they're prototypes. It's camouflage here as well. But it's still a handsome car, very handsome car, from the rear and from the front. Very pretty car, but I don't think I'll do with those panels, but I do love the boomerang lights. They are very nice, very, very nice. So the inside is the same in both cars, and it's the interior of the EV6, just a little bit narrower. So you're not going to see anything surprising here. No massive revelation as to what way Kia is going in design language or anything. No change whatsoever. The only remarkable thing for me is it says prototype vehicle here, but other than that, it's pretty much the same car inside here. Now I notice, while you've been here, that this sky thing changes as you drive along, so it depends on the weather. It's wrong now, it says blue sky there, and it's actually just grey sky outside, but it can, there it goes, it just went grey, so it changes to the actual conditions outside. So this is the actual weather. You can see that's how it changes. It's got rain coming on. It's not raining, but that's the weather forecast. So it does actually change. That goes nighttime as well. Same thing. Then you have on the main screen in the middle, which you can use here as well. You can sweep around. It's very quick. As I said, it's prototype stuff, but it is actually working. Map here will show you that I'm sitting up in the middle of Norway. So I'll zoom out a little bit. It's all on touchscreens. It's all very good. So I am... There's Oslo, just here. So I'm about 30 kilometers from Oslo at the moment. It's a very nice little area. It's very good. It's very simple here. And this is very nice. I really do like their touchscreen. Their nav system is very good. This is the PHEV one. It's exactly the same in the EV one. You also get USB-C and USB, and this is a wireless charging tray, which is actually really good. And then you have loads of controls on the side here. You can cool and heat your seats, you can heat your steering wheel, do the whole thing. This is Norway. It does get cold here. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to take a drive in the EV, and I'll tell you all about that. And then we're going to come down to the PHEV, and we'll try and find out some prices. But I think the price of this car is going to be in the beginnings of the 40s. Because it can't be the same price as EV6, and that's 50 grand. It can't be that, so it's going to have to be down into the 40 area. So that's where I think they're going to go with it. Anyway, let's get on with a little spin. So it's all a bit of chaos, but we're actually off. Oslo is quite hard to drive around and get out of, so they're guiding us through the thing, and this is a full prototype vehicle. So I'm going to follow the car in front. Let's just say it's unfinished, so a lot of software and things in here probably won't work, and we don't have sat-nav in this one either, so we're going to have to just rely on following along behind this car, or we also have a Google Map thing set up. Worth a mention as well while I'm here, worth a mention while I'm here is that there is going to be a subscription service for the software updates on these cars, and that is definitely coming. And that means that they want you to use the software that the car company provides for the sat-nav, because it preconditions the cars and does all that sort of stuff, so you'll get that out of it, you get that feeling out of it. But in my experience, most of the car software doesn't really get you where you're supposed to be going. It's not the best, and it often doesn't know where all the charge points are and that sort of stuff. So it is worth thinking about what you're doing there, because car companies' apps have been light years behind what other app companies have been putting out, software companies have been putting out. Look at a better route planner, or even like the EasyGo app or ESB app, which tells you where you are, where you want to be, and what the chargers are there. But it won't precondition the car, which is what I think Kia is kind of relying on here. Oslo here, this queue of cars on beside me here is made up of EVs, diesels, hybrids and petrols, because there's still quite a market in Norway for petrol and diesel. It's still in here, like it's still in the mix, although the electric cars have completely taken over here. There is an element of getting much further along. So anyway, technical stuff over the car itself. It's coming to Ireland. We're actually going to be on the actual international trip of this in a few weeks' time, but the car is still pre-production. This is still a prototype vehicle, so still not completely finished. Got a bit of power behind it. Now, none of this is finished, so you never know what way the power is actually going to be adjusted on it. I have to try and keep up with my comrades up here, because we don't have a map to say where we're going to go. There is no map. Can't get out beyond the taxi here. Oh, it's a bus lane anyway. You're allowed in an EV in Norway to drive in the bus lane, but actually pointed out this morning by Christian, who was the guy giving us the talk this morning. He said that Norway is actually removing some of its incentives, which has changed the outcome of whether people buy an EV or not. It's actually changed it quite a lot, because without the incentives, people just don't want to buy any EVs. And this has become a problem, because EVs have cost this country about €9 billion, because between incentives and taxes and things, there's no incentive at all here to buy, to install a home charger. You don't get an incentive for that. But at the same time, nearly 70% of homeowners in Norway have a home charger already.
The total car park in Norway is just under 17%, and at this point they've retracted the idea that all EVs can use the bus lanes, simply because single drivers were just pulling into the bus lane and polluting that and stopping buses in the bus lane. And so now you must be carrying a passenger in Norway to use the bus lanes. I think this is fair, as a bus lane should just be for buses, or at least public service vehicles including taxis, not just for EV drivers.
They've already got, like Circle K have already put in a full charge point with 12 300 kilowatt hour fast chargers in it and a pile of slow chargers, and they put the fossil fuel cells, the internal combustion stuff, out the back, so you have to go around the back of the petrol station to get your fossil fuels, whereas up until now it's been the other way around. You go to fossil fuels and you have to go out the back of the place to do it. So right now we're heading up to a little bit further north of Oslo, and then we're going sort of across the country back down again. It's little bursts of driving, about 20 minutes at a time. So far so good. I like the look of it. Camouflage in the back of the ones we're looking at right now. I like the look of the car though. It actually looks really well. There's a Dodge Ram, that's definitely not electric. The electric dream is good here, but it's still plenty of diesels on the road. I still see them all coming at me here. So later on today I'm going to try the PHEV version of this as well. Still a market in Ireland for PHEV, I think. Still a lot of people want to make that jump slowly, not quickly like here. But I think it'll happen in the next 3 or 4 years, because that's what happened here in Norway. They went from kind of a large car park of mostly diesels, then in this sort of 3-year period they went, and it all happened very fast. So much so you can't get supply of EVs in other countries because they're all coming to Norway. Now, I'm always reminding people of the fact that Norway is an incredibly wealthy country. This is not a broke country. The people here are very wealthy, and their wealth comes from oil. It comes from fossil fuels. So they export their fossil fuels, well, some of them, out of the country, they sell them and they make money from that, and that money gets recycled back into the system here in the form of literally a cash payment to every citizen in the country, because they democratically sell the oil. So everybody makes a little bit of money out of oil sales, and you come over here and you go, wow, isn't this wonderful Norway? But they're very wealthy people. There's no shortage of money here. So it's very hard to say that can be achieved in Ireland, because there is some very wealthy people in Ireland, and those very wealthy people right now get free money from the very poor people who have to drive a petrol or diesel, are subsidising the wealthy people to be able to buy expensive cars. A lot of electric cars. We were out in the town last night driving around, or walking around, and surprisingly for a city centre, it's very small here, comparable I think more to Galway than Dublin. It's very tiny. Like, from my hotel room I can see the countryside. Like, it's not like a massive big sprawling place like Frankfurt or somewhere. But amazingly, when you're walking around the city centre, how quiet it is at all the traffic lights. You know, cars piling up behind each other, but they're all sitting there silently waiting to go. Just no, it's just very easy. Fuel efficiency in this car is currently showing me 17.9 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, which isn't great, if I'm honest. I would have thought I would have got a little bit better than that, maybe somewhere down around 13 or 12 at this stage, which I think is the good efficiency level. I think very efficient is about 12 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's very efficient. Not efficient is anything over 20. So somewhere between 12 and 20 would be efficient. You can get lower than that, you're doing pretty well. You can if you try hard. If you drive normally, you won't. Anyway, hard to say how this actually drives, because this is still a prototype, but it feels solid on the road. It does feel quite heavy on the back, as always with electric cars. Like the dashboard, like the 10.5-inch display here is going to be standard on all the cars as well. So what you're seeing in the video is what you're going to get on the road as well. There might be some different options. There'll be a GT line, there'll be an Earth model or something. They'll have model lineups and model walks. Another problem for the industry is that because of the caps, because the grants are capped at certain levels, that they have to make the top spec car come in around that level, which makes the price walk look weird. A car starting at 40,000, 45,000 euro, and then the top spec model is 50 grand. It doesn't make any sense. So it has to be like that little 5 grand walk just won't make any sense. People just buy the top one all the time, which doesn't make good business sense for any of the car companies. But this will have a price walk of some sort. Of course, you have the PHEV version as well. The plug-in one is probably the one you might get excited about, but I actually think electric at the moment, the way range is working with electric, the way we're getting more and more charge points across Ireland, I actually think electric might be the way to go for everyone now. And I think you're only deluding yourself a little bit if you're going for PHEV, or you live in an area that is just short of charge points all the time, like Cork or the entire west coast of Ireland. The east coast has a fair few charge points now, right into the kind of Midlands. Portlaoise has a lot of charge points. We're a low carbon town as well, so we've got a new Lidl that has 2 more charge points, fast charge points, 50 kilowatt ones. We have a couple of 50 kilowatt ones up to town, 36 kilowatt. We've got a couple of 22s and a few 11s. So we've got a good coverage there. But yet all those charge points are regularly full. Just so you know, they're actually regularly full. So it's like I've gone to Portlaoise Plaza and it's been full of cars and a waiting list to go with it. So it's a weird one to think about, but it is becoming a problem already. And it is a problem here in Norway, but they have chargers everywhere in this country. We're going to a cafe lunch stop that has chargers at it. We're going to, they've got all the chargers sorted. That part is all done. So the infrastructure here is included everywhere. There's charge points all over the place.
Having even slow chargers all over the place is the key to happy EV driving, because you never feel like you're under pressure, or there's going to be a queue. While we don't have official prices on these cars, I'm expecting the PHEV to be under 40,000 euro and a full EV to be slightly over. We will have a full drive of this car coming up in the finished version very soon in Germany, and then later on in the year this car will appear in your forecourt ready for ordering.
This has been a wild and weird trip from Oslo. Fascinating stuff here. Check out Nobby on Cars. We made a Joule video there talking about how it works here in Norway and how electric cars are taking over in a good way. And you can of course check out the video here, the review of this, and we're going to be reviewing this again in Frankfurt soon. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've hit the subscribe button. Look after yourselves, and until the next time, I'll see you on the far side.